There is no reason you should be chunking your wedge shots. It's one of the shortest clubs in the bag. It's one of the easiest to hit. But you're in a good spot because today I'm going to share with you the 3 main reasons why most of you are chunking your wedge shots, and more importantly, a great drill on how to fix it. I'm PGA teaching professional Todd Kolb, Director of Instruction for US Golf TV and the Sanford Power Golf Academy. And a wedge shot, okay, a wedge, anywhere from a pitching wedge to a lob wedge, is one of the shortest clubs in the bag, and it's really the scoring club. So good solid contact, okay, leads to good distance control, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about here today. So let's dive right into it. Now, on a wedge shot, there's 3 main reasons why most people chunk them. The first one is very simple. It's called ball position, right? Ball position. Now, where should the ball be positioned when we hit a wedge shot? Well, if you've watched it in my videos on irons and drivers, you know that like with a driver, we want the ball a little bit forward, right? Almost off the inside of the lead heel. With an iron, it's kind of somewhere off like the logo on a shirt. I've got my golf shirt on right here. You can see pretty much out from where the logo would be. But for a wedge shot, I want that somewhere between my logo and the buttons on my shirt. Now, most of you, if you're chunking it, could be something as simple as you're making a good golf swing, but you've got the ball position like you're hitting an iron, maybe like a 5-iron or 6-iron. So you make a good swing, okay, and you hit way behind it, all right? Now, the key here, and you might be asking yourself, is Todd, how do I find that spot? Well, here's a simple way you can do it. It's what I teach all of my students. You're gonna get a ball, of course, put your feet together. Notice how I've got my feet together, ball right in the center. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically separate my feet equal steps both directions. So I'm gonna step towards the target, I'm gonna step away from the target, maybe like, a 1/2 inch to an inch more. When I do that process, now the ball is somewhere between the logo on my shirt, the buttons on my shirt, and if I make a good golf swing, I make good solid contact with the ball. So that's the first place that you're gonna look, is something as simple as ball position. Now the second one I'm going to talk about has to do with weight shift, pressure shift, and then we're going to talk about the one that nobody ever looks at or thinks about in the third one here. And I got to tell you this, if you haven't already, hey, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, leave a comment. I answer all the comments, and that's where our best ideas on what we should be talking about come from. So hey, do me a favor, join us here at US Golf TV, join the family. We got great content coming out all the time. All right, pressure shift, weight shift, all right? Moving side to side, all right? Now, when you're hitting a wedge shot, there's not as much movement from side to side as there is, especially when you're hitting a driver or even like an iron. So you know this, if you've watched any of my videos, that I always like to start with a little bit more weight on my lead foot. 60-40, that's a common theme that you'll see in all of my coaching programs, from the vertical line swing to tour draw to all of them, you'll see that. So I've got a little bit more weight on my lead foot. Now, when you're hitting a wedge, you're gonna shift that weight a little bit. Okay, you're at 60, you're at 40, but it's not gonna be a ton. You might move to maybe 60-40. So I start 60-40, 60 on the lead, 40 on the trail, and then in the backswing I might just reverse that. I might go 60 and 40. Now what that does is it centers your turn a little bit. So let me go ahead and hit a shot here. Notice I'm starting on my lead foot. I'm gonna reverse that. Okay, that helps me center my turn a little bit. Now where that's a little bit maybe different than what you might hear in other coaching or traditional coaching is they'll tell you to kind of start 50-50. I don't really like that. I like the 60-40. And also, like with the driver, okay, if you watch any of my driver tips, you're gonna start 60-40, you're gonna move real strong to the right foot, okay? But with a wedge shot, you wanna stay a little bit more stationary. So that's the second thing. Start 60-60, make sure you shift your weight, but only a little bit, so at the top of your backswing, you still feel like you're pretty centered. All right, now, the third one, and this is the one most people don't think about, is swing direction. All right, swing direction. So what I mean by that is when we look at it down the line here, when I swing the golf club, okay, there's a direction that the club swings. The club can swing straight back, the club can swing out, the club can swing in. Those are the 3 directions: straight back, out, or in. Now, the key here to remember is that direction greatly impacts where the club hits the ground. As an example, if I swing this club, all right, straight back for the most part, straight back and up, I'm gonna hit the ground kind of right in the middle of my feet. But if I start to swing that club in and around, the club starts hitting behind the golf ball. See where it's hitting? And the opposite would be true if I swung it out and across. Okay, now, let me show you a great visual for that. I've got this right here. It's called the plane slider. I use this for a variety of different things, from helping to create more club head speed, learning proper wrist hinge, but it's really good for this too. So it's got this kind of ball on here and it kind of slides. You can see that there. It's a great visual. But when you swing the club with the wedge, you want to swing it more straight back. Okay, and then you can kind of see how that, see the visual there? See how it just falls? I'll do this a lot with my students when we're working on their wedges. If they swing it inside, notice the ball doesn't really fall. Okay, so that's a great visual. Swing it back, almost envision on your wedge that there's kind of this slider on there and that falls down. Now when you do that, the bottom of the swing is going to be in the correct spot. So let me go ahead and hit a shot here, and then we're going to give you a drill to tie all this together. So set up, let's go through the concepts here. Ready? Ball pretty center between the logo and the buttons. A little bit of weight in the lead foot. I'm going to stay relatively centered, and my swing direction is more straight back and up. Okay, that was pretty solid. Maybe even just a tad thin, but good distance, and I'll take that shot. Now, all right, you might agree with that, you might disagree with that. That's okay, leave a comment. If you disagree with me, that's okay. Give me an idea of what you might be thinking or what's helped you with your wedge shots, because you might actually help some of your fellow golfers. Now, what is the drill? Here's my favorite drill. What we'll do, I'll take my lead foot, I'll say, all right, take your lead foot, put a little forward, put the trail foot back, and just have them make some swings. And we're gonna take my trail foot and just kind of balance on my toe. See that? Now, a couple things happen, and we're just gonna make consistent, rhythmic swings back and through. So a couple things are gonna happen here. Number one is, because you're on one foot, the ball is gonna be centered where you need it. Okay? Number two is that if you have any side-to-side movement at all, you're going to feel like you're going to fall over, so you're just instinctively not going to do that. And number three, with that continuous motion, the club's going to naturally find the right direction, and it's going to bottom out where you want it to. So when we go hit wedge shots, it's the easiest club in the bag to hit. We get set in there, get the ball in the right spot, start a little lead side, swing it straight back and up. Boom, there it is, solid every single time. You do those couple tips, you will no longer be chunking your wedge shots.